On this special edition of UTR, we share some of our favorite museum memories. We'll see a bounty of beautiful beads, a presidential place, and some TV magic. Then we find some natural history, see how Ford was founded, and even Stahl for some classic cars. Pun intended. Get ready to explore some of the many museums that make Michigan a great place to ponder.
Everyone loves a great story, whether it's the classics we grew up with or the ones handed down through history. But what about the comeback stories, where what's new meets what's next, and why meets why not? Let's dive into the latest chapter of Detroit and the unmistakable vibe of pure Michigan. Your trip begins at michigan.org.
There's something special about the pride, the skill, and the passion it takes to build something great. The Construction Association of Michigan, CAM, understands that passion and has been providing contractors with the resources they need since 1885. A visit to the Stahl's Automotive Museum will take you back to a time when cars were more than just a way to get around. In addition to beautiful cars, enjoy the collection of gas pumps, road signs, oil cans, and other car-related accessories. Info at stahlsauto.com. Support provided by DestinationAnnArbor.org, your gateway to Chelsea, Dexter, Manchester, Milan, Saline, Ypsilanti, and Ann Arbor.
I've been around the world, but there's one place I keep coming back to. And the more I explore, the more I realize it's the place to be. I'm Tom Dalden, and this is Under the Radar, Michigan.
Well, are you ready? Because for the next 30 minutes, we're going to broaden your brains, expand your horizons, and visit some of Michigan's most marvelous museums. Yeah, you might learn something along the way, but I guarantee you'll have a ton of fun doing it. So crank up your cranium and get your cerebral cortex a-cooking, because Michigan's great museums are on the menu.
If you've ever been driving around Detroit, you've probably seen the building behind me here and wondered, what the heck is that? Well, I'm going to go find out right now from the guy who's responsible for it. And you might want to come with me, it's freezing out.
I'm at Dabl's African Bead Museum, and just walking around the building is an awesome experience. The entire outside of the museum is an artistic expression of the man inside, and that man is Dabl's.
Yeah, I found your place on the Webernet, you know, that
Yes.
place, that thing you need for the computer for.
Yes.
And the pictures of this place fascinated me. And when I got here, it's even more fascinating and more incredible when you see it up close and personal, the building here. What is it exactly you do here?
We are an African bead museum, and the goal was originally to preserve beads. We were going to take a building and show beads and have people coming in to see the beads. We ran out of money, so we decided to just beautify the place.
Dabl's is a true character, and you can tell he's put his heart and soul into this. Walking the grounds with him and learning about the history and culture that surrounds his place was a great way to spend the afternoon. And I even got to meet another colorful character who hangs out here.
Yeah, well, ever since I got here, I've been hearing this ethereal kind of music. Where's that coming from?
That's coming from a drummer named Ipe who plays a lot of different instruments, and he's over in the corner.
I'm gonna go check him out. He's a drummer?
Yes.
I'm gonna check him
But
out.
he's playing a choral.
Okay. So are you usually here when people come to see the museum?
Oh yeah,
And what's your main function here?
to provide the ambiance, the music.
Ambiance and music, that's cool. So if I come back down, can I jam with you again?
Sure.
Cool. Dabl's a cool guy. This is a great place. I'm gonna bring my daughter here and buy some beads.
Ladies and gentlemen, we interrupt your regularly scheduled programming to bring you a live message from the Oval Office at the White House.
Well, I may not be the president, but I still got a pretty important message for you.
And that message is that you need to visit the Gerald R. Ford Presidential Library and Museum in downtown Grand Rapids. It's a fascinating place chock full of fun and history. Not to mention an up-close and personal experience with our 38th president, Gerald R. Ford. After a polite yet strong suggestion that I vacate the Oval Office, I met up with Kristen Mooney. She's a public affairs specialist here at the museum, and her mission was to make sure I learned and behaved.
You know what I love about this museum? Not only does it pay tribute to the presidency and to Gerald Ford, but it's a great way to take a step back in time to a decade that was, there was so much happening in the 70s.
There were a lot of things going on, a lot of social unrest, social movements.
What kind of guy was Gerald Ford?
Well, he was very Midwestern. He was down home, wanted to do well for the citizens that he represented, and that was being a congressman or being a vice president or then being president.
And you mentioned you've been here 16 years.
Yeah.
Which means A, you started when you were a baby, and B, you must love it here.
I do. I've always wanted to work with history, and politics is great, and so here I get the best of both worlds.
Well, thanks for picking my favorite decade.
Thank you.
Want to see me disco dance?
Yeah.
You do?
Sure.
I'll have to practice first. It's been a while.
As you walk through the museum, you're literally surrounded by the historic sights and sounds of the 70s. And with some exhibits, you can walk right into history.
Now, for people who don't know, what happens in the cabinet room?
This is where the president gets information about the decisions he's making.
Well, what's neat about this is I'd never get the chance to go in the real cabinet room in the White House. Right. There's no way. But to come in here and see, this is an exact replica.
Yeah.
So it's to think that people sit around a table like this and make the kind of decisions they make is pretty awe-inspiring.
Not only does this museum give you an up-close and personal experience with the 70s, it really gives you a sense of the importance and complexities of the presidency and the accomplishments of Gerald Ford. If you're looking for a place to feel presidential, pop into the Gerald R. Ford Library and Museum. Oh, and the Oval Office? It really is oval. Cool.
If you watch our show, you've probably noticed that we do a lot of, TV magic. So I thought, wouldn't it be cool to go see the American Museum of Magic? And it's right here in Marshall. Come on inside, I'll show you. Pretty cool, huh?
If you're into magic history or just want an incredibly cool place to hang out for a while, this is the place. It's the American Museum of Magic. And yep, it's right here in Marshall, Michigan. Susan Collins spent a few magic moments with us to explain why this museum is so worth seeing.
So, did you like my magic trick that I did earlier?
Yes.
Pretty cool, huh?
It was amazing.
Thank you, thank you. So how did the American Museum of Magic end up in Marshall?
Well, it's one man's collection, about 750,000 items, and he came out from Detroit looking for a quiet place to house his collection. And he and his wife and father-in-law had dinner at Schuler's and wandered down the street and saw that this building was for sale. And then they opened up, and they did it in October, like maybe right around Houdini's birthday.
Ooh.
We had a big seance trying to bring Houdini back.
And he said?
And sadly, Houdini didn't come.
I had a funny feeling he wouldn't. Well, he's probably busy.
But one of the funny things about it was you couldn't buy bagels any place closer than Ann Arbor, which is 75 miles away. And so consequently, I had to bake the bagels so we could have lox and bagels to try and bring Houdini back. That's probably why he didn't come.
And you said you don't do magic. That sounds like magic to me. Oh, now for people who have never been here before, describe this place. It's pretty magical, actually.
Well, the posters are the thing that just really set me off. I love the poster collection. And this is just very few. There are over 2,000 that have been dry mounted, and I think it's something like 200 or so are on the walls because there's just not room for all of them.
These are all original, real?
These are all original handbills from all over the world. Bob was very good at finding things, and people would bring him things. They would mail him things. He was known as a collector by the magic community, and everybody knew he was doing it just for fun. He wasn't doing it for money. This collection is the largest in the world in private hands that's open to the public, and it's right here in Marshall, Michigan.
Well, whether you're into magic or not, this museum really is a neat place to explore.
I'm coming. Darn it.
You know, a lot of people avoid museums because they think they're boring and all about learning. But if you have the right attitude about learning, it can be a lot of fun. And if you pick the right museum, it can be even more funner. I think I need some learning. Oh. Not only is U of M's Museum of Natural History the right museum, it's an absolute treasure for people who live in Michigan. And until you come here, you forget just how much fun learning can be.
He's hunting.
I reached out to Amanda Page, which is perfect because she's the outreach program manager at the museum. And she had all the knowledge that I was looking for.
Now, let me see if I understand this right. Museums of natural history are meant to explore the natural world.
Yes.
And our place in it.
Yes. That is a good sort of summary and caption of what natural history museums do.
One of the things I love about this place is you can make a donation when you come in, but you can just come, you can bring your family here and just come in.
We are the best bargain in the state of Michigan. We have the most fossils on display, we have the most dinosaurs on display, and you can't beat the price. We do ask for donations. You can donate in our donation box. You can join as a member, which is a great bargain because you can get into other museums across the country for free. But if you're looking for something to do with your kids, it's a rainy, cold day outside in the middle of like November, December, January, February, April, come to the museum.
You don't have a missing link exhibit, do you? Because I'm available.
We don't have a missing link exhibit yet, but we can go upstairs and get you all molded up and casted and put you on display.
That'd be perfect.
Awesome.
In only 20 short steps, Amanda took me about 11 billion years back to a time when dinosaurs were stomping the earth.
So this is not a Tyrannosaurus Rex?
This is not a T-Rex. This is Allosaurus, or Big Al as I like to call him. He is a theropod.
Hey, Big Al.
He's distantly sort of related in that all meat eaters are sort of from the same branch of dinosaurness, but he is not a T-Rex.
Because T-Rexes were twice this size.
T-Rexes were probably bigger than twice that size. We've got a T-Rex head in the front, and his head is infinitely larger than this guy's head.
Maybe he had a big-time TV show.
It's entirely possible. He is the more famous of the two, but Allosaurus is a lot cooler.
Next, Amanda took me to visit two giants from our neck of the woods.
Now, these are mastodons?
These are our mastodons. She is a lovely lady from Michigan. This gentleman is a sign of standing citizen from the great state of Indiana, and they met right here on our exhibit floor and are going to be together forever.
How'd they meet?
They met when our exhibit designers decided we need to have a pair so that you can talk about comparing how do you know that that's a female and that's a male. She is one of my favorite things in the entire museum because of her broken tooth. She is not a perfect lady, as most of us are not.
How old is she?
She is 10,000 years old, so she is technically a fossil. Anything younger than 10,000 years old is not eligible for fossilhood status.
Yes!
You are not, officially not a fossil.
Then Amanda showed me something that totally gave me an aha moment.
This is an actual T-Rex brain. Look how small it is. Proof positive he probably did have a TV show.
Amanda made our trip to the museum so much fun, I completely forgot I was learning. So pick a day, exercise your brain, have some fun, and spend a few hours at U of M's Museum of Natural History. After being there for a while, you'll realize it's such a natural thing to do.
Have you ever looked at a car or a truck and wondered, how the heck did that happen? Well, wonder no more.
And that's because the good folks at the Henry Ford put together an amazing experience called the Ford Rouge Factory Tour. And it's a tour you should totally take. From artifacts dating all the way back to the Model A, to state-of-the-art interactive displays including robots, lasers, and 3D imaging, this tour totally takes you there. You'll learn the incredible history of this awesome auto plant and even see vehicles actually being made today. This is a total historical and manufacturing experience that few people get to, well, experience. So to make sure I experience it all, I hit the Henry Ford Museum, hopped on the official tour bus, and headed off for the factory tour. Once we made our way inside, I sought out Cynthia Jones. Not only is she the manager here, she's also one of the main reasons this exhibit has won awards around the world.
I feel like a little kid in a candy truck store. This is so cool. Now, for somebody who hasn't taken the tour yet, oh, I love that noise. Explain the whole experience. You don't start here at the factory, right?
Correct. So you want to start at the main museum campus of the Henry Ford, and we put you on a bus. We take you on a quick guided tour across Dearborn, give you a little bit of history on the way, so we kind of point out where Henry Ford was born, give you a sense of place and where you're at. Then you arrive here at the factory tour. We encourage you, you can do it in any order you want, but we encourage you to see the films first. So you can start with a quick history film. We condensed 100 years of history into about 10 minutes.
Awesome.
So it's super fun. We show a lot of things that you've never seen before because we went into our archival footage, pulled it out.
Now, the classic cars that are on display, those are incredible.
Oh my goodness, yes. So every single vehicle that we've got on display was made here at the Rouge. So it gives you some of that visual timeline of where you're at.
So after you get steeped in the history of Ford, you actually get to come in here on this catwalk and actually see trucks. It looks like we're making trucks today.
We are making trucks today. We make trucks almost every day year-round. So this factory produces every version of the F-150. So any guess how many buildable combinations that is?
No, a lot?
A lot. 650,000 or more buildable combinations of this truck.
How often is a truck completed here on the line?
So at full speed, we're finishing one truck every 52 seconds. So we roll trucks 1 a minute, 22 hours a day, 7 days a week.
This is such a unique experience because how often you get to actually walk around and see every phase of construction on a truck.
Yes.
Yeah, that is so cool. I'm impressed at how cool and clean and nice it is in here.
Thank you. We're very thoughtful about how you work here because these folks work hard. This is one truck every 52 seconds means they have 41 seconds to do their job.
That's amazing.
And they do that same job 600 times a day. So we need to be thoughtful about how they do that. So we think a lot about ergonomics, we think a lot about the place to make it a good place to work.
How long has Ford been making cars and trucks on this site?
So Henry Ford bought the property in 1915. Our first car or truck fully produced here was the Model A, so it was late 1920s. So we've been in active production for 100 years.
And I understand you actually have a living roof here?
We do. So Bill Ford was very visionary, and he looked out from his office at World Headquarters. He can see the Rouge, so he can look at us every day. And he thought about this place that's building the world's amazing truck and this amazing place, 100 years of history. How do you go forward? How do you be a good neighbor? And he thought about green technology, a living roof, all the things that we do here, all the birds, the bees, the plants that we've brought back here, thinking about the air in the water, how people work, where they work. It's not just the truck, it's the overall piece.
Now, on a personal level, you've been here for over 15 years, correct? And you actually helped design this tour.
Yes, I did.
How does that feel?
Oh my goodness, so I am so proud to work here, to tell the history of a place, but more importantly to me personally, innovation lives here. Every single day, innovation, innovation, innovation. So to be part of something like that, I got the best job in Detroit.
And I understand at the end of the tour, you get a truck. Is that correct?
Well, you could buy a small Matchbox truck.
Okay, I guess I can go for that. I'll do that. Darn it, that never works.
After you take this tour, I guarantee that the next time you get into a car or truck, you'll have a whole new appreciation for where it came from and what it took to make it.
If you've got a chronic craving for classic cars and you want to do something about it, well, there's no reason to stall. Well, not until you get to this place.
Stahl's Classic Auto Museum in Chesterfield is a place you just have to see to believe. It's a one-stop eye-candy auto shop where you can get your car fix, well, permanently fixed. John Lauder is the curator here at the museum, and he was the perfect motorhead to help me get a handle on this great place.
We have gotten so many emails about this place from people in the past couple of years. Now that I'm here, I totally get it. I might send myself an email.
Well, you should.
How did this collection come to be?
Well, Mr. Stahl had a very successful business that was growing, and he needed more property for his employees to park on. He purchased a house in St. Clair Shores in order to tear it down, and the nice old gentleman that was selling the house said, well, now that you've bought my house, you need to come in the garage and buy my Model A Ford. And it struck him as a fun idea and something he could do with his sons. And it started with one Model A Ford And
he got bit.
Well, he got bit. He got bit, and this is a disease for which there is no cure.
Well, obviously, oh my gosh, this collection is mind-boggling. What does it take to maintain a collection like this?
It takes perseverance, because time is not our friend. Time's kind of working against us, and these cars are mostly all restored. But the day a car is finished restoring, it wants to kind of go back to its common elements.
Well, this place isn't just a museum or a collection. It's got a higher meaning to it. I mean, there's a mission to this place, right?
Well, the mission of the place is to educate the public about the history of our big industry here in the Detroit area, the auto industry. And we start in the first corner with the oldest cars, which are really just horse carriages with engines strapped into them. And then as you walk through, you're walking a timeline, and you can see the evolution toward what we drive today.
Now, this place is kind of tucked away in an industrial park, and it's not open all the time. It's got select hours, right?
We're open every Tuesday from 1 to 4, the first Saturday of every month from 11 till 4.
And also, I understand it's free?
It's free of charge. We have a donation box. If people care to leave us a donation, it goes toward helping maintain this fleet, and it helps to buy amenities for our volunteers, who are a huge asset of this organization. And they come here, they're very generous with their time. They help us clean these cars before every day that we're open. And they're our docents. So as people walk around, if they have a question, you know, why does that hood ornament look like that? You know, we go get Eugene, you know. But that everyone has their own specialty area, and they're just an incredible bank of information that we can draw upon.
You got a favorite car in here?
I do.
You want to show it to me?
I sure would.
Yes.
A chance to sit in one of these classic cars? Oh yeah, I'm all about that.
Oh, now that's a door.
That is a door.
Why does that feel and sound so cool?
Well, this is a wood-framed body on this car, and all cars prior to the mid-1930s, the structure of the body is wood, and the steel is just a skin to keep the water off the wood and to give it a pleasant shape.
You know, what are we sitting in?
We're sitting in a 1934 Packard Roadster, Super 8 Roadster.
Also known as probably the coolest car I've ever sat in. This is extraordinary.
Packard was called the Rolls-Royce of America, and they were a very fine motor car for a discriminating clientele.
Yeah, I'd like to think that back in 1934, this is the kind of car a TV show host would drive. Huh.
Probably not.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, after a great conversation with John, he cut us loose to roam this ridiculously cool collection. And in no time at all, we all picked out our favorites. Mine was, of course, the incredibly lavish 1931 Cord L29 Le Grande Boattail Speedster for, well, obvious reasons. Jim had his eye on the incredible 1919 Meisenhelde. Yeah, of course, it didn't really do that much for me. Oh. As for Eric, his dream ride was the 1912 Rolls-Royce Silver Ghost. And if you look close, you can see him dreaming about it right now. Eric? Eric? Eric! This incredible collection is a true and inspiring American treasure that's right here in our own backyard. And there's so much to see that you'll most likely be planning your return before you even leave. So stop by Stahl's and spend some quality time looking back at the things that move us forward every day. Hey there. Want to know more about all the great places we go on the program? Just go to our website. You can watch episodes, tell us where to go, jump to our Facebook page, and even buy a hat like mine. So just go to utrmichigan.com. That's utrmichigan.com. Go now. Or now.
Everyone loves a great story. Whether it's the classics we grew up with or the ones handed down through history. But what about the comeback stories, where what's new meets what's next, and why meets why not? Let's dive into the latest chapter of Detroit and the unmistakable vibe of pure Michigan. Your trip begins at Michigan.org.
There's something special about the pride, the skill, and the passion it takes to build something great. The Construction Association of Michigan, CAM, understands that passion and has been providing contractors with the resources they need since 1885. A visit to the Stahl's Automotive Museum will take you back to a time when cars were more than just a way to get around. In addition to beautiful cars, enjoy the collection of gas pumps, road signs, oil cans, and other car-related accessories. Info at stahlsauto.com. DestinationAnnArbor.org is your gateway to Chelsea, Dexter, Manchester, Milan, Saline, Ypsilanti, and Ann Arbor. Find out the best spots to eat, festivals to attend, activities to do, and places to discover at DestinationAnnArbor.org.